Insomnia update. Now, I got this picture off the internet, and underneath it said sleepless nights, early death. So, if you've been watching Infected Blood Australia, I've been sharing the fact that tainted blood victims of Australia's deadliest medical scandal, often have insomnia. It's for a variety of reasons. It's because of their infections, HIV, hepatitis C. It's also because of the damage to livers as a result of things like hepatitis C, cirrhosis, fibrosis, and liver cancer. We have people in all of those categories in our group. So far in recent days, I've tried kiwi fruit. By memory, what have I had? I've had practically everything. Kiwi fruit, magnesium, tryptophan, all sorts of weird and wonderful concoctions. But after a few days, I hadn't had one wink of sleep. And yesterday, things got a little bit, I got a bit anxious. And especially if you go looking on the internet, and actually another member of our group mentioned this to me, if you go looking at the internet, it keeps speaking of if you have insomnia, you're likely to face an early death. So it has a psychological component as well. And a lot of people in our group have had post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of the shock of having had their lives ruined by having received a contaminated blood transfusion. So, last night, I was feeling really pretty sick, and I'd had some heart trouble the night before. I have a heart condition. And so I thought, I left a message on Instagram, just in case I pop off, just to say, take care of yourselves, basically, and how to look after yourself and negotiate Australia's health system, which is, I'm sorry to say, in part run by corruption. Okay? So yesterday, I was getting a bit nervous, but I actually had a chat with a friend of ours, a really good supporter of Infected Blood Australia, my friend Becca. And Becca actually gave me an idea. Hi, Becca. She actually gave me an idea. She was talking about how she'd had a few sleepless nights in her life, but then what's happened is she's become so active with the demands of her job and exercise and all of that sort of stuff. By the time she actually goes to bed, she's literally, boom, it's lights out. Well, I've done a lot of that, and it hasn't always been lights out. You'd think after 3 or 4 nights you'd be lights out, but I did think about what Becca said, and so what I did was I took a pretty slow pace but big walk around my area at night in the pouring rain, and when I got back home, I went to bed, and I had to take a couple of Nurofen, which I really don't like taking. I'll do anything to avoid Big Pharma, but this has been like 3 or 4 nights of no sleep, and I suffer from massive inflammation. And so I did. I had this walk around the area, and the next thing I know, went to bed, and I slept for what I think was about 7 hours, and I felt so much better. So much better. I felt so good that I was able to do the Wim Hof method, one of my favourite things to do in the morning, these breathing techniques. And I haven't been able to do that because with this conditions that I have, certain muscles in my body don't work as they should. And my right lung, even though it's clear of horrible things like cancer and damage, it won't lift up because the muscles, the nerve and the muscles aren't communicating. And so how I get around that is I'm a medicinal cannabis patient. And here is a lightly infused cannabis, okay, that you can make yourself. You can put it in a little bit of, this is MCT oil, okay. And so this is what I use, but it's not strong enough really to knock me out and put me to sleep. But there are types of medicinal cannabis that can. Here's one that's really good for my conditions. Okay, I've got a lot wrong with me. It's okay, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to play a violin. It's just been my life, right? Like many people in our group, when they went into hospital, many people had cancer. They had all sorts of conditions, and they were given blood, and the blood was contaminated. So it compounded already a huge list of probably health issues, and now you got tainted blood on top. Okay, so I'm just typical of this group. I'm actually healthier than many people in our group. We've got a lot of people who are a lot worse off than me, and that's why I make these videos, right? To get attention for it. But yeah, this one here, if I have that, I basically sleep a normal night, and I feel practically normal the next day. My muscles work. I'm able to have control of my muscles. I don't always have that control. It can be difficult going to the toilet and things like that because it can even affect your bladder. And I'm not able to do my favourite Wim Hof technique. But with this medicine, I am. Now, this medicine is still not available here in Australia, or my understanding it's still not. And the government stop patients from having access like this. And I think that's criminal. I really do, because it could save lives, and I've seen it save lives. And so I just want to say this to the Australian government. We've had enough. You corruptly, you basically gave us tainted blood, and we know that you did it knowingly now, and there's thousands of cases we can prove where that happened. And many people with children and women in childbirth, and there's never a right time to give someone tainted blood. Okay, it's not okay, no matter what age or what situation, but you did it in all situations, and it's appalling, and the way that we've been treated is appalling. So if there's one thing as president of Infected Blood Australia that I want to achieve for our group, it's that they have all safe and natural available medicines. If it can help them, it doesn't have to be this. If we've asked for physiotherapists for people in our group. We've asked for all sorts of things that might help them. It doesn't have to be this, and we're denied all of it. And yet, in so many cases, we can prove that tainted blood was done knowingly. Okay? So, I did have a good night's sleep. So that's 4 nights I didn't have, sort of 3 or 4 nights I didn't have any sleep, and then last night I got some sleep, so I feel very much better. Thank you to all of those people that wrote in with various sleep aids and different concoctions. I think chamomile tea, valerian, ashwagandha, there's been magnesium, there's been so many good suggestions. I've had valerian before, and if you know what valerian is, that's a natural sleep aid, and I actually found it gave me nightmares. And then I did some research, and I think it's because it lowers blood sugar. And I've got a lot of tainted blood victims have problems with our blood sugar. I get low blood sugar at night, so anything that lowers my blood sugar is not a great thing at night. So that's just been my experience, but there's lots of other people who swear by valerian. And also melatonin is another one. We've had some great, Lady Cool, another friend of the group, gave us great advice on that, and I actually am. I've decided I'm going to go out and get some melatonin. That's a hormone that we produce in our bodies that helps promote sleep. When we're younger, we produce far more of it, like when we're babies. And that's probably why as we get older, we don't produce as much of it. And maybe that's the reason why sometimes as we get older, we can sleep less or have more sleep difficulties. So I will be getting that. And I think I was advised that when I tried it in the past, I felt a bit groggy the next day, even though I got sleep. And it's been pointed out to me that maybe I was taking too big a dose of melatonin. Okay, so I'm going to be careful with that in future. But yeah, ultimately the ultimate aim is for us to be able to have tainted blood victims to be able to have options outside of big pharma, addictive and potentially dangerous medications, because a lot of people in our group take a lot of pain relievers and all of that stuff, understandably. But we'd like, if possible, to try and limit a lot of dangerous medicines. This is not dangerous. This is safe. But the dangerous sleeping tablets and the painkillers and all of that stuff. Ultimately, these put a very heavy burden sometimes on the liver, especially if you've been taking them for years, like members of our group. And it can damage livers. So we're looking to do anything we can to improve our lot and get more sleep. Thank you for watching.